You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Good morning, Yankees universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Tuesday, September 17th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, joined by my bestie, the compañera. I got the one and only Miss Grace Monroe. And all you Yankee fans, wake up and get a coffee. Grace, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm so glad to be back, y'all. I was on vacation last week. We went to I was telling Hector backstage, we flew into Fresno, the college hometown of Aaron, the captain Judge.
Yes.
So I was looking around wearing my Yankees hat. You know, I had to rep. So I had my Yankees hat on the whole time. Like, yeah, Aaron Judge went here. Fresno State Bulldogs, what's up? We drove out to Yosemite National Park. We had spent a couple days in a cabin out there. So we had no cell service. I missed the games, y'all. So this is going to be a fun catch up for me. I tried to catch up on some of the drama that happened while I was gone. But then we drove up to Lake Tahoe. Got my Lake Tahoe sweatshirt on. Yes, I love souvenirs.
Hey.
But we flew home last night. I'm really glad to be home. Got the Mariners series coming up. See, my Yankees got a 3-game lead in the division. I told y'all on X, I said, I'm going on vacation. Don't blow the division lead while I'm gone. So thank you for not blowing the division lead while your girl took a little vacay. But I'm glad to be back and see your beautiful face, Hector. So good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's always good to chat and see you, Grace. Let's shout out the chat. One of the best chats that's out there on the tube of the Ube. Shout out my guy Ghost in the building. Fantasma. Ghost, how you doing, my guy? We got our good friend Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. Appreciate you, Jacob. If you guys didn't see, like Jacob said, you guys go to New York Post, go on their YouTube channel. My friend Dexter Henry had me on for his rapid rundown. It was an entire episode, like 20, 30 minutes. It was a great time. Shout out our good friend Dexter Henry over there. NFE in the strike zone is in the building. My friend Frankie Rivera, how you doing, Frankie? The nosebleed section, Theo Nosebleed. How you doing? And of course, the lovely girlfriend in the building, Alex, says the chat guidelines, no hate speech or bullying or violating the YouTube terms of services. If you breach those terms and services and our guidelines, you will be removed from the chat without warning. So basically, let's all be nice and have a good conversation. But Grace, we just beat up on the Red Sox 3 games out of 4. It's kind of hard for me not to be a little cocky as a Yankee fan. But listen, it's important. You brought up the division lead. We have a 3-game lead in the division right now. One on the West Coast. We see the Seattle Mariners, the Oakland Athletics, and then we come back to Yankee Stadium to end the season. We have 12 games left. We have a series against the Baltimore Orioles and then the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm letting you guys know it is important that we go into that 3-game series against the Orioles with at least a 3-game lead. If you go into that series with a 3-game lead, you are forcing the Orioles to have to sweep your team. And if you're trying to coast or trying to be in the driver's seat of the division, you have to try to have as much of a lead going into that series. It's key for us. What's your thoughts on that, Grace?
Yeah, you said we're playing them at the stadium or at Camden?
At the stadium. Yes, no, at the stadium. I'll be at the stadium also on Tuesday because Bernie Williams is doing the national anthem. So this is how it's going to be. Monday, Bernie Williams will be with myself and Grace on the Yankees Morning Brew. Tuesday, we have our regular show, but I'll be at Yankee Stadium, a part of the media for Bernie Williams and his performance at the stadium. I'm looking forward to it. Sorry about that, Grace. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it when I actually love it when instrumentalists do the national anthem. It doesn't always have to be a singer.
Yes.
And I say this with so much love. And I'm a singer. I say this with respect to all singers. But I really enjoy every once in a while having an instrumentalist version of the Star Spangled Banner. So that's awesome. Yeah. I love it when Bernie plays it. So I'm going to be really looking forward to that. That's awesome. But I mean, having that lead going into a final series with the team that we are fighting in the division to top is huge. Absolutely huge. even just a 3-game lead is absolutely huge. I mean, there aren't that many games left. The magic number is going down by the day, so you gotta you want to be in control of your own destiny, right? And that's where we are. You don't want to be in the Orioles position or, in a lot of other teams' positions where you have to try to go out and make something happen. Now we're in the driver's seat. We're in control. And I saw that they announced that they moved Marcus Stroman to the bullpen for the remainder.
Not for the remainder of the season. For this turn in the rotation, Marcus Stroman has been put into the bullpen. Just for this turn in the rotation. We're not sure how the Yankees are going to treat that going down the stretch. Like I said, there's 12 games left. We got 3 in Seattle, 3 in Oakland, 3 at the stadium against Baltimore, and then we end the season against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I mean, I think we're in a really good spot. I'm feeling good about it. I feel like we have I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud, but I feel like we have pitching depth. Like, what happened? Because, just a couple weeks ago, we were pulling our hair out and screaming and ranting and raving about, we messed up at the deadline and we should have done this and that. And now I feel like we have options. We're in a good spot. We're getting healthier. We're maybe the healthiest we've been all year, perhaps.
Since the beginning of the season.
Since the beginning. But I'm feeling good. Like I said, we are in control. And if we can go in and take a couple games from the Mariners at least, maybe sweep the A's, we're going to be golden going into series with the Orioles and then the Pirates. I mean, let's take the division. Not just that, Grace, right? And I hate trying to be hindsight 50-50 or trying to find the silver lining or anything like that. I hate being that person. But I'm going to ask you this, Grace. Coming into the season, after it was announced that Gerrit Cole was going to start the year on the IL, miss the first 2 months of the season, basically, if I would have told you on September 17th, with 12 games left, we will have a 3-game lead in the division, we will have one of the best, if not the best record in the American League, would you sign up for that? Absolutely, I would sign up for that. And I would be in total disbelief that would happen. I mean, you remember when I got the alert that Gerrit Cole had elbow, soreness, whatever, I was ready to jump off the Chrysler building. Like, I was ready to.
Grace, I was in spring training. I was at George M. Steinbrenner Field. It felt like we were attending a funeral, the way that the Yankee fans were just down and out over there.
Oh, I screamed out loud, and my husband in the other room had to be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not okay. Gerrit Cole, elbow!" I was done. So no, I wouldn't have believed you. And yes, I would have signed up for that in a New York minute. Okay, that. So
folks in the chat, let us know if you would sign up for that.
Oh yeah, let us know, because if you say no, I'm gonna say you lie. You're lying like a rug.
You're a bold-faced liar. Let's shout out some of the chat that we just mentioned. Shout out our friend Pizza Meninetti is in the building. Big Pizza morning, y'all. Thank and happy to have an Uptown Sports Yanks Morning Brew type of morning. Absolutely pizza, because the Yankees have a 3-game lead in the division. We're feeling good about ourselves, and everything is right in Yankee land. Shout out to Theo Nosebly, who said Stroman told Boom he would do whatever it takes to help this team win. And that right there is what you want to see out of your veterans, right? Because you have a lot of major league players and a lot of veterans that I don't want to say that they feel entitled, but 9 times out of 10, those veterans expect themselves to be out there instead of a young kid that's coming up, or instead of somebody who's not proven at the major league level. So to hear Marcus Stroman in his first year with the New York Yankees, not only is he nominated for the Roberto Clemente Award, which is a very prestigious award out there, not only is that, but he's saying everything you want to hear out of a player that coming to your team. There was a lot of question marks when it comes to his character, when it comes to his demeanor, how he is in the locker room. There was a big part of Yankee fandom out there, you know who you are, that wanted Trevor Bauer over Marcus Stroman. And now we see what Marcus Stroman has done this season. The first half of the year, he was phenomenal. Then he had a little stretch with his ERA. He took a little tick, and his ERA has been high. But over his past few starts, he's been serviceable, giving you 5 innings, 6 innings, and that's all you want from a back end starter of your rotation.
It's so crazy that his reputation before coming here was absolutely abysmal, right? I mean, everyone told us that he was a locker room cancer, that he was a problem, that he wasn't a team-centered type of guy, that he was going to fight with the New York fans and the media, and that he was going to do this and that. It has been totally opposite for Marcus Stroman. Also, we heard the same thing about Jazz Chisholm. He has been the total opposite. I saw, when Jazz had the walk-off, I saw that they had interviewed him afterward, and that he had mentioned that he had never felt, I'm paraphrasing, of course, he never felt the type of electricity that he had felt in the stadium that night, that it wasn't even October yet, that he can't wait for October, because if this is how it is just at the end of the year, he can't imagine how, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, he can't imagine how hype is going to be in the Bronx in the postseason. And that, that makes me feel like Jazz Chisholm Jr. is home in the Bronx. He belongs there under the lights. He loves the fans. He loves the hype. He loves the energy. He loves the team. He's been such a team guy, not trying to hit homers every time he's up there. Getting up there, manufacturing runs, stealing bases, laying down buttons, doing whatever he needs to do to help the team. It's the opposite of what we had been told, just like Marcus Stroman. So I really think the Yankees are putting together something of a magical season. We've got these magic, extra elements happening. We got the Rookie of the Year. We got, Aaron Judge having a crazy year. Juan Soto right behind him. Y'all, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it right now, okay? I'm feeling it going into the postseason. We're going to get hot at the right time. It's all happening.
One thing I want to say, Damien is backstage, and I see him laughing right now, right? Because I know he's coming in. He's laughing because us Yankee fans, we are the most, how can I say this? We are the most Jekyll and Hyde fan base that there ever is, right? And I'm going to bring in Damien because he's doing the roller coaster right now. Because one thing I'm going to say is, and I'll kick it over to Damien. Shout out to the fly guy, Damien Serrano, my brother from another.
Morning, guys.
When you look at this team, last week, right, the 2 walk-off wins that we got, Juan Soto and Jazz Chisholm coming up clutch in extra innings, and Aaron Judge coming back, hitting that grand slam, to me, that has turned around our Yankee season. One, when you look at our team, going into games that go into extra innings, the Yankees have been under 500 this entire season. So to have 2 wins back-to-back that are walk-off wins, to me, goes a long way to changing the chemistry in the locker room going into the postseason. And also, Aaron Judge getting that big how you doing off of his back. There's been a lot of criticism on Aaron Judge, especially over the past 18, 19 games. That's why my nephews aren't allowed to watch Paw Patrol anymore because of Aaron Judge's slump. But over the past 18, 19 games, you had so many fans criticizing Aaron Judge. Oh, he only hits home runs to pat his numbers. It's never to give the Yankees a lead or bring the Yankees back. Bump that, because against the Boston Red Sox, he did that in the bottom of the 7th. He hit that grand slam, gave us the lead, and he spoiled that series for the Boston Red Sox, because the Red Sox, they were building momentum. They were building momentum, climbing up that wild card standing. They faced the Yankees, and the Yankees took three out of 4. Damien, what's your thoughts?
Good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing? Chat, good morning. Listen, the Yankees are on a roll right now. There's only one thing that truly scares me, and that's Gerrit Cole. That's Gerrit Cole's mentality right now, considering what just happened. Because I was listening a little further to what happened. Obviously, we all know he walked Devers, 1 man out, throwing a no-hitter, nobody on, which is a big no-no to me in the first place. But what occurred after that, and what a lot of us didn't get to hear and know, was that the Red Sox dugout was calling Cole basically a big push, right? And they were making it very vocal. So after that happened, he unraveled. So we all know Gerrit Cole, number one, is a creature of habit. Number two, when Gerrit Cole's mental gets completely thrown off, shaken up, he unravels, and it showed it this past game. So that's what scares me, not because of the fact, number one, you're an ace you're the ace of the squad. Everybody says cold day, win day. So when he did that, right, what does that do to Cole's mental? Where's Cole's mental here moving on forward? Okay, because when somebody can break you down as an entire Red Sox dugout and you can unravel the way you did and never get back on, what does that do for his mental for the rest of the season? Because again, Cole's now being looked at a little different. I look at Cole a little different, to be honest with you, because as an ace of a team, as the ace of the squad, you listen. I get it. Devers owns you, but you also have 15 strikeouts against Devers, so it's not like you've never gotten to him. And to do that in that situation, and I don't care what Boone says, communication, yada yada yada. Listen, Cole did that on his own, which is why Boone walked with him in the tunnel after that inning. So my only concern, listen, the Yankees are on a high, and I get it. My only concern is our ace at this point. It ain't physical, it's mental. And a mental situation like Cole's right now, I'm scared in the playoffs a little bit, because what is he going to be like in the playoffs? More importantly, moving on forward. So his next start is a big start for the Yankees, a big start for him. See where he's at.
Yeah, definitely got to build momentum going into the postseason. Grace, I'll let you chime back in on that one, because we were talking about Gerrit Cole. Go ahead. And I think I got a graphic for him. Go ahead, Grace.
Y'all, this is crazy. Okay, so I was out in Yosemite National Park, okay? I didn't see the game.
She was looking for Yogi and Boo Boo.
Yeah, I was. But I'm telling you, like, I didn't see the game. When I come back to Wi-Fi, to civilization, and I see all the updates and everybody talking about Daddy Cole, and I'm like, what do you mean? I saw Daddy, you know, they were talking about how Gerrit Cole intentionally walks Devers, and and I'm like, he intentionally walked Devers, and I thought, my first thought was, what was the situation? And then when I found out it was 1 out, nobody on, I thought, huh? What's happening? Then I saw the video, and usually the manager is the one who throws up 4 fingers. But Gerrit Cole threw up 4 fingers and went like this, and I'm like, this is so strange. Like, what is happening? Then I found out that the Red Sox supposedly, like, gained all this momentum, and they had like all this attitude, and then they beat us down in that game. Again, I didn't see the game, so I'm trying to wrap my head around the situation from a totally objective perspective, because I didn't see the game, and I'm just very confused. To me, I would think that if Gerrit Cole got mentally rattled, then he would want to come back in his next start like a dog, like we know he can.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're not going to see the Red Sox in the postseason, because if we were, I would feel a lot like Damien. I would be extremely concerned about his mental state, facing Devers again, or facing a team that was calling him names or whatever. That would definitely be a big concern. Luckily, we're not going to see them, so I don't know, y'all. Again, I didn't see the game. I'm really fascinated by hearing you guys talk about this situation.
For me, and maybe people in the chat can hear where I'm coming from with you guys as well, I think it gets a little blown out of proportion because it's Gerrit Cole, right? If it was Fulano Augustine from another team, somebody that's not the ace of a staff, and they decided to walk Rafael Devers, I don't think the story will get that much headlines that is getting. Because how many times have we've had Aaron Judge get intentionally walked in the 3rd or in the 4th inning because the team doesn't want Aaron Judge to hurt them? It's the same thing with Rafael Devers. But the reason why it gets blown out of proportion, one, it's Yankees, Red Sox, and it's also Gerrit Cole versus Devers, right? If it was some random pitcher from if it was Yoranjis Gomez, in that moment, I don't think the story will have the legs that it has right now. Maybe I'm just looking at it differently or whatever, but I totally believe that it's getting blown out of proportion because it is Gerrit Cole. And when I was there on media day on Tuesday, I told you on Thursday that one of the Dominican reporters asked, Grace, you didn't hear this. One of the Dominican reporters asked Gerrit Cole, out of all the Dominican players that are still in the league right now, who is the one that you don't want to face? He didn't even let the reporter finish his words. As the reporter's talking, he's like, Rafael Devers. Like, he literally just said that. And then John Boy took the video and ran with it and didn't credit the news outlet, but that's another story for another day. But that right there, that moment, immediately when that happened, I went back to that moment. I know Damien did as well.
I thought of you instantly. And my only issue with it is this, again, because we think of all the aces in baseball, Nolan Ryans of the world, Randy Johnsons of the world, so on and so forth, all these big name aces, and they always go up and step up for that battle, no matter how many times the hitter may have gotten them, because you're the ace. You're an ex-Cy Young pitcher. So I get your point as far as, the people have done that to Judge, so on and so forth. But we got to look at who did that to Judge, right? What pitcher did that to Judge? What was the situation? Because this is the fourth inning. Cole's pitching a no-hitter, right? He hasn't given up a hit yet. Yeah. One man out, nobody on. You got to go at Devers, and simply and only because of the fact of what's the worst that's going to happen? He hits a home run, and you're tied 1-1. You move on, right? And to me, it's all about situation. If it's seventh inning, Yankees are up 2-1, and it's late in the game, that calls for it. Then you walk Devers. And what made it even more strange and odd was that he hit him in the first inning. So I'm like, all right, well, that looked a little intentional now because, mind you, when you hit a batter, you normally, you throw a fastball, right? And it's not something soft. To me, it looked like, all right, I'm going to hit Devers with something soft like a cutter. Come the fourth inning, now I'm going to walk him. So is that what happened? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But perception is reality, and that's the perception of it. So listen, the next go around for Cole is huge. Not only for us as fans, but for himself. Because let's see how Cole, we all know sometimes Cole unravels throughout the seasons. We all know this 2 years ago. He gave up so many home runs. True. You know what I mean? So this is it's a big start for Cole. Maybe it may be a nothing burger or maybe something, but we're gonna find out come his next start.
Again, and I agree with you. Definitely. Oh, go ahead, Grace. I just wanted to shout out my guy Lorenzo Cardona that's in the building. Enzo, how you doing? And of course, we gotta shout out our good friend Li Yankee King, the only troll in the Yankee universe that I love and I acknowledge is my guy Li Yankee King. Shout out to Sean Browning in the building. Michael Harvard is in the building as well. Big Lou, how you doing? FL Divers, salute. And if I didn't say Sean Browning, my guy, I appreciate you. Go ahead, Grace. Sorry about that. I was
just going to say one more thing about Daddy Cole. I was just going to say one more thing, which is
Papa Cole.
Kind of piggybacking on what Damien said. You going into the postseason especially, and going into a postseason where the New York Yankees have World Series aspirations, you want to be behind, the, I don't want to say captain because that's Aaron Judge, but the major or the drill sergeant, I don't know, whatever you want to say, of the defense is Gerrit Cole. And you want to follow him into battle, proud, confident, and thinking there's nobody that we can't beat. And when you have your ace on the mound and you're playing a team that's not even in wild card contention, like, let's be for real. And you're telling me that you're scared to pitch to a guy on this, I'm going to be harsh because it's the Red Sox and I hate them, irrelevant team.
Say it.
You're afraid to pitch to a guy on an irrelevant team when you have a 1-0 lead and only one out and nobody on in the fourth inning. And our ace, the guy we're trying to follow into battle, the leader of the defense, the guy who we're going to rally behind to go win the World Series, is too chicken shit to pitch to this guy? That doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't see the game, so when I was trying to figure out what happened, I'm just confused. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Why? Because the first thing, like I said, first thing was first thing I thought was, well, what was the situation? Was the, bases loaded, bottom of the, or top of the ninth inning? Like, who knows what the situation was? When I found out what the situation was, I'm like, this seems chicken shit, and that doesn't seem like Gerrit Cole. So to piggyback on Damien's point, the mentality of Gerrit Cole needs to get reset, and he needs to come back in his next start and pitch strong and carve his way through the lineups like we know he can, and then go ahead and lead us into the postseason like the defensive captain that we know he is. Because let's take that game, let's put it behind us, that whole thing, the intentionally hitting Devers or not intentionally, I don't know, the intentional walk. And then apparently they tried to hit Aaron Judge after, but they missed or something.
Yeah,
I love Judge's quote. If you're gonna throw at me, don't miss. I love that.
Don't miss,
Judge.
Yeah. That's when you got to shout. You got to shout out the captain, and that's a perfect segue to that conversation, right? Because, like you said, this is what Aaron Judge had to say. They're just protecting their players. I think the biggest thing is just don't miss when you do it, and that's Aaron Judge reacting to Alex Cora's implication that the Red Sox threw at him during Saturday's game. But when you look at his season, Aaron Judge is hitting .321. He has 53 home runs, 132 RBIs, and he has an OPS of 1.147. He already is past his career highs when it comes to RBIs. He could potentially finish the year with his highest batting average ever. I'm not sure if he'll get to 62 home runs. There's only 12 games left, but you never know when it comes to Aaron Judge. Regardless of what happens, Aaron Judge catching fire right now, I think is the perfect thing for the New York Yankees going into the postseason. And also Juan Soto, right? Because we got to talk about Juan Soto. My guy Tommy M on Twitter, he put it out there. Juan Soto is hitting .216 in the month of September, and he hit .222 in the month of August, right? So that goes to show me that both Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, knock on wood, if the Yankees want to make a long run in the postseason, we need Aaron Judge and Juan Soto to get on fire at the right moment. If Aaron Judge and Juan Soto were both right now competing for the AL Player of the Week, hitting 400 over their last 2 weeks, I would be nervous because that would mean they're peaking before we get into the postseason. Let them have their struggles right now and peak at the moment that we need them to peak. And we need them to peak in the postseason, not a week before, not 12 games left for the season. We need you to peak as we're going into the postseason. And I think this is the perfect recipe because when you look at this team, finally, we got to close in Luke Weaver. Shout out to Luke Weaver and the dog mentality that he has. And then you see the other pieces starting to fall into place. Tommy Kahnle has fallen in his spot into the bullpen. Hill has fallen into his spot into the bullpen. Ian Hamilton has come back healthy. He has fall into the perfect spot in the bullpen. And dare I may say it, Clay Holmes looked competent pitching in the 7th inning on back-to-back appearances. Pinch me, Grace. I don't think it's real.
That's
if I didn't see it, it didn't happen.
Listen, the team is whole.
Let's talk about the bullpen. Go ahead, Damien. Go ahead. Talk
the
about
team.
The team. Talk about the team bullpen and kick it over to Grace.
Yeah, I mean, the team is whole, right? Listen, Weaver, man. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
You get me? Okay. Listen, I call him Luke Skyweaver, right? So my guy came in 8th and 9th inning. Listen, struck out 6. 3 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th. I mean, absolutely amazing. The guy's a dog out there. And listen, the bullpen was a worry. I mean, it's no longer a worry. Ian Hamilton, which can either pitch 7th or 8th. You can flip-flop him or Kahnle. You obviously got Weaver to close it out. And listen, if we're ever in trouble in the 5th or 6th, throw in Clay. The bullpen is as deep as it's going to get through in the entire season. Not only that, but you got Tim Hill as well, who's also, an unsung hero for the bullpen as well. Aaron Judge, the bullpen, starting staff, Marcus Stroman going to the pen, has no problems doing it. He'll do whatever he needs for the team. Can be a long man. Listen, shout out to Nestor Cortez.
Yes.
Demoted to the bullpen. He's come out and has been absolutely amazing. So, listen, they are exactly where they need to be. The offense just has to come along and, pretty much piggyback for what they're doing at this point.
Yeah, I want to shout out my guy Chris K, who's in the chat with the $2 super chat. My guy Chris K, how you doing? He says yes, a Luke Weaver shout out. If you guys can, go on Yankees Twitter, go on Instagram. My guy Chris, he does an amazing job when I've seen in a long time over there at Woodbridge. So guys, go on Twitter, guys on Instagram, follow my guy Chris K. From Empire State of Baseball. Richie, how you doing, you sexy bastard? You. This is my guy. Again, great time meeting him IRL. We caught Gerrit Cole's rehab start at Somerset. Boys over there, Empire State of Baseball, they do amazing work. Grace.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what's happening, if it's on my end with the internet or what's going on. But yo, Luke Weaver has been that guy all year. And if you guys didn't know, he calls himself the silent assassin. He calls himself that. When I found that out, this was months ago, I was like, oh, Luke Weaver's like that. Okay. And then I started calling him the silent assassin, but I didn't make it up. He made it up about himself. That's the kind of mentality that you want to have from a guy where you can throw him in any situation. Whether, wherever the high leverage situation is, you can put Luke Weaver in, and you know that he believes he can get anybody out. Tim Hill has been absolutely awesome. And like an undersung, undersold hero of the bullpen this year, or the second half of the season has been Tim Hill. He's been awesome. I love him. Ian Hamilton has been my guy too. I feel like Hector always says he looks like a 1920s mobster guy.
See, Copper is trying to catch me. See,
can't catch me, Cavas. Yeah, I feel like
can't catch me. See,
it's totally true. He's got he's got an aura. He's got a presence. I love Ian Hamilton. I'm glad to see he's back. Hopefully he's got that Slambio back. I mean, he's so great. Canley's gotten it together. Even you guys said Holmes had a nice outing, which has been great. We've always said that Holmes had talent, but he's not a closer. He's not a designated closer. Maybe even sometimes in some situations, maybe he could close, but not the designated closer, right? So it's been great that they have taken that, I wouldn't say advice, but the risk to remove him from that designated spot and start to kind of put people in where they see fit every day situationally. So that's been awesome. You guys, I feel like we're hitting it at the right time, but let me bring up something that we need to hit at the right time, okay? Because I have concerns, and I love this guy, this man. I don't want to say kid. I love this man, but it's been hard. It's been a struggle, and I'm talking about Anthony Volpe.
Okay.
What are we gonna do about Anthony Volpe, y'all? He has become an automatic out, basically. Okay, now we've Verdugo has adjusted, and we've got Jasson Dominguez behind him. We were concerned about Gleyber Torres for a while. Obviously, he's caught fire. He's been great. Anthony Volpe is an offensive liability at this point, and I saw on Talking Yanks, I watched it on the plane. I downloaded it and watched it on the plane last night, where they brought up a fact that no one in the history of the New York Yankees has had such a low on-base percentage as Anthony Volpe through this many plate appearances in a single season. It's never happened.
Yeah.
So not only is he not getting hit production, he's not even getting on base to use the good part of his game, which is his base running and his speed, even though I know he's been thrown out a couple times, but his base running and his speed is a strength. He's not even getting on base, not even walking. At what point are you going to ask yourself, why is Oswaldo Cabrera on the bench? Whether that's first base or shortstop or whatever. I'm just bringing this up. I want to hear you guys' opinion on this situation. Now, is it possible Anthony Volpe could catch fire? We could see that guy we saw at the beginning of the year where he was in the bottom half of the order. Now that he's in the bottom half of the order, could he catch fire going into the postseason? That would be huge. What do you guys think?
For me, when it comes to Volpe, and I'll make my point quick, and I'll toss it over to Damien. I want to shout out some chats real quick. Shout out to my brother Keith Saunders, who's in the building. Keith, happy belated birthday! It's crazy because Keith is actually like one of my homeboys that I live with, live close to in the Bronx and stuff like that. Me, Keith, and our friend Demi, we all have the same. Our birthdays are all around the same time in September. So shout out to my brother Keith. Definitely miss my guys over from Pelham. Rich said Hamilton has a James Cagney, little James Cagney in him. Ghost said they just need to hold the lead and they can win the division with this offense and the pitching and its bullpen. Absolutely. But me, this is my take when it comes to Volpe. His defense is the reason why Volpe is in the lineup, right? Because he did win a Gold Glove last year. He's still a better defender than Oswaldo Cabrera. Shout out to Oswaldo, one of my favorite guys. I've interviewed him many times, had many interactions with Oswaldo. I love him. I'm a big Oswaldo Cabrera fan. But I think when it comes to Volpe and Cabrera, they have Volpe in there because he's a better right-handed hitter than Cabrera is, right? Cabrera is better from the left-hand side. That's one. Two, Volpe is better when it comes to his speed, stealing bases, and is a better defender. Oswaldo could get on base a little bit better than Volpe, has a higher on base percentage maybe than Volpe, could draw a few more walks. But I think the reason why the Yankees keep him there is because of his defense, especially when our second baseman has been the worst second baseman statistically in all of Major League Baseball, especially when our third base platoon situation has been one of the worst third base platoon situation in baseball. Anthony Rizzo, who's a Gold Glove defender in his past, missed the majority of the season. And the one player that's been constant, that's been somebody that you can rely on when it comes to their defense in the infield, it has been Anthony Volpe. I know the bar may be on the ground when it comes to the defense of our infield, but the one consistent person that we've had is Anthony Volpe, and that's just in my opinion. Other people may see it differently.
Volpe defensively is absolutely outstanding. What the Yankees need to do, listen, they had yesterday off. They need to give Volpe today and tomorrow off. Give him a couple of days, work in that cage. Listen, the one thing I used to do with my sales agents, right? Like, Damien, I hit my goal, blah, blah. I said, man, congratulations, but you messed up, right? I said, what do you mean? I said, you messed up because you showed me you can do it, right? So Anthony Volpe, you did it the beginning of the season, came the All-Star break, you did it again. So you messed up, Volpe. You showed us you can do it. Now, looking at his at-bats, if you do them side by side, he's just opening up way too early. The hips are flying, kind of like what he did last season. Volpe just needs to get in the cage and fix whatever mechanically is wrong. So,
This is
all right. So, Boone, for the love of God, give him a couple of days off. He had yesterday off. Give him today. Give him tomorrow. Let him work in the cage. Get him back on track. It's the only way he's going to be able to get back on track. Just give him a few days off. There's nothing wrong with it. Just get back on track. His defense is obviously Gold Glove. His offense, all we needed to be is average. That's it.
right.
So let's get him there, because right now, what he reminds me of is Andrelton Simmons. Great glove, terrible offense. And he's far and beyond better than that as a player. So just get him back to work and he'll be all right. Guys, I'll be right back, though. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead. I would say the one thing that benefits the Yankees is that Anthony Volpe is in the bottom of the line. We're not depending on Anthony Volpe to be our leadoff hitter, to be the table setter for the guys beneath after him. Anthony Volpe is in the bottom half of the lineup, and you should keep him in the bottom half of the lineup. I agree with Rich. If you want to give him some time off, you give it against Oakland, not against Seattle, because Seattle has top-end pitching, and you want Volpe to still face top-end pitching to try to figure it out before going to Oakland, where you have just AAA pitching and you can take advantage of that. My fault, Grace. Go ahead.
No, you're good. What concerns me about Volpe is his, like I said, the on-base percentage, the lack of walking and working walks.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn famously said, that if you see a guy with a high walk rate, you see a good hitter, because they are seeing the ball. The fact that the walk rate is so bad, so low, I should say low, not bad, is so low, that's what's concerning to me. about Volpe. I would like it if he just got on base more, just more walks. I don't need him to slug. I don't need him necessarily to be a run producer, but just to walk a little more, because like you guys said, and it was a great point, his defense is great, and I'm thankful to have that anchor in the infield, to have that Gold Glove defense. But Damien made a really great point that I was going to make also, but I will just further his point. The rest, right? We all were saying Volpe looks tired at the All-Star break. Then after he had a couple days off, he came back, and what happened? He was doing better. He looked like he'd been re-energized. And I mean, this guy has been out there every day, virtually.
He has.
So winning the division is that much more important. And this is why. It's going to give our guys a rest. Guys like Anthony Volpe, who played virtually every game, who need a little bit of a rest to reset. Guys like Juan Soto, who have played virtually every game. Obviously, Aaron Judge. These guys get a couple extra days to reset, to focus on their next opponent. The catchers get extra time to do scouting. The pitchers get extra time to do scouting and game planning. I mean, it's so important that we win the division. Absolutely. We want to have that reset. Absolutely. So, but I do think that there is a situation that could be headed for us in the postseason where they pinch hit somebody for Anthony Volpe. I can see that happening.
It all depends on the matchups. It all depends on, like Aaron Boone likes to say, the lane that we're in at the moment. But I want to highlight Erica Garcia. Shout out to our good friend Erica Garcia in the building. Erica says, yeah, Volpe rolls over so many pitches. He never gets his legs into it. It's always all upper body and feels like such a long swing. Not sure why they haven't made the adjustment it takes. And I want to pinpoint to that because you saw the adjustments Anthony Volpe made in the offseason. And that may be the type of player that Anthony Volpe is. He may be a player that can only make those adjustments during the offseason because during the season, it's just going to mess him up even worse. You see Gleyber Torres. Use Gleyber Torres as a perfect example. How many times have we seen Gleyber Torres switch up his batting stance? And finally, since August, he figured it out, right? I think Anthony Volpe will get there eventually. But in year 2, I think that's unfair to expect Anthony Volpe to make in-season adjustments when it comes to his batting stance, because this is a guy that still had limited at-bats in AAA, limited at-bats in AA. You still have to give Anthony Volpe time. He is learning the job on the fly. I know it sucks to say that, but when you compare last year to this year, he's not hitting 200, and that's an improvement. I know it's a mini and a micro improvement, but it's still an improvement. His on-base percentage is still higher this year than it was last year. So if you're comparing it, it's still better than what you got last year. The issue is with Volpe, people expected him to be the next Derek Jeter, and that's what's unfair to Volpe. Volpe may never be an all-star level shortstop in the major leagues. We may have to come with that reality. We may have to come to grasp with that reality sooner rather than later. I think a lot of Yankee fans, myself included, we put a lot of expectations on Volpe, thinking that he would be the next Derek Jeter, thinking that he would be the next shortstop in New York City to take over. I think we did that, putting unfair expectations on the Yankees and also the front office. I think the front office mishandled Anthony Volpe's development, and they put that unwanted pressure, unfair pressure on Anthony Volpe. Again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like Anthony Volpe. Don't get me wrong. I love Anthony Volpe. I'm grateful for him in a lot of ways, but his at-bats lately have looked totally impotent, and he's sloppy. It's bad. I'm just calling a spade, and I would say that about anybody in the lineup, whether I love them or not. I would say that about anybody. If I'm gonna ride Gleyber Torres, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta be fair to everybody. And Anthony Volpe's at bats lately, it needs some adjusting. And if he can't adjust in season, work more walks. You know what I'm saying? Get on base so you can run the path, like contribute. You know.
I'm right there with you, Grace. I want to switch gears because we got to go back to our starting rotation, and we got to talk about not Verdugo. We got to talk about Carlos Rodón, who is 15-9 on the season, a career high 15 wins on the season. And to me, I think Carlos Rodón, he had such an up and down season. I want to break it down. So his first 14 starts of the year, he had an ERA of 2.93. This is his first 14 starts of the year, right? And his next 5 starts, his ERA blew up. He had a 10.57 ERA over a stretch of 5 starts. And then he's finishing up the season strong now. And his last 11 starts, he has an ERA of 3.26. So I want to ask you, Grace, when it comes to Carlos Rodón, the real Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, what version of Carlos Rodón do you think will show up in the postseason? And folks in the chat, let me know, what do you guys think when it comes to Carlos Rodón? Which version of Rodón will we get? And if you guys can, smack that like button. We got over 70 people watching us collectively, and we got over 40 people on YouTube. So smack that like button for the y'alls, like Grace like to say. Go ahead, Grace.
Will the real Carlos Rodón please stand up? I've been very vocal with criticism of Rodón last year. This year, it took a while for me to warm up to him, to say, oh, you know, maybe I was wrong, maybe. And then it was back to the mean again. And then it was back again. So I don't know, unfortunately. I want to believe that Rodón has just been waiting this entire time to prove himself in the postseason. Because as we know, he famously said, they didn't sign me to pitch in April, right? When he was injured at the beginning of last season. So here's your chance, Carlos. Like, here's your chance. It's about to be October. It's about to be division winning New York Yankees postseason baseball, chasing the pennant, chasing the World Series ring. It's about to be time. Put up or shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I am hoping that we are about to see the best version of Carlos Rodón that we've ever seen. And if he is kind of, like you said, Jekyll and Hyde, or you want to say wishy-washy, whatever, let's get the wishy, not the washy, for the postseason. He's gonna do it. I'm gonna believe, because y'all, I'm feeling positive. He's gonna do it.
I have confidence now in Carlos Rodón, and I want to piggyback and echo what our friend Erica said in the chat. Erica said, I am finally confident in Rodón. I think we have been so hesitant to claim trust when it comes to his starts. Now I'm very confident with him being a playoff starter, especially the number 2 starter behind Mr. Gerrit Cole. The issues that Carlos Rodón falls into, or when Carlos Rodón gets in trouble, is when his defense behind him doesn't come up. When the defense is playing sloppy and you allow guys to get on base by an error, by a free base, whatever you want to put it, that's when Carlos Rodón, he starts to lose it. He gives up his home runs. Yes, I'm going to say Carlos Rodón, he gives up his home runs. But when his defense is sloppy and you can't trust it, that's when it's going to be a bad Carlos Rodón start. I'm going to bring up Damien so he can join us in on this conversation. Damien, Carlos Rodón, Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I brought up the stats. I'm just going to repeat it for you. In his first 14 starts of the year, Carlos Rodón had an ERA of 2.93. In his next 5 starts, his ERA was 10.57. But in his last 11 starts, we've seen one of the best versions of Carlos Rodón. His ERA is 3.26. I want to ask you, Damien, what version of Rodón do you think will show up in the postseason? And do you trust him? Are you betting the house on Carlos Rodón?
Listen, man, Carlos.
They need to be on a t-shirt.
yeah. Seriously, Carlos. Listen, Rodón's been great. Listen, I think right now we have the version that we all expected out of him. The guy that's gonna throw strikes, get strikeouts. More importantly, he's learning how to pitch. He's learned how to pitch this year. He's solely a slider, fastball guy, hard or nothing. Now he's adding his changeup. He's trusting it more. He's trusting his curveball more. That changeup is everything to Carlos Rodón. But I also want to give a shout out to somebody as well. That's Anthony Rizzo. That last game, Rodón got frustrated. Defense failed him a little bit. First guy to come out there wasn't the catcher, wasn't Matt Blake. It was Anthony Rizzo. And that's why Rizzo was so important to this team. Obviously not
That's a great
offensively
point.
because you know what he's giving us, but he's so important to the team because he was that guy to go out there and settle Rodón down. After he went out there, Rodón was right back to where he was and pitched the gem. Obviously, he gave up a few runs, and that's okay. But as long as there's somebody out there like an Anthony Rizzo, which with all due respect, it should have been the catcher. It should have been Matt Blake. But Rizzo is truly the captain of that defense. So with Rizzo going out there, settling him down, getting Carlos right back on track. Listen, as long as we can have somebody there to tame Carlos, get him back mentally, Carlos is going to be okay. So again, shout out to Rizzo. That was huge. And little things like that mean so much in this game.
Yeah, and those are the things that don't show up in a player's stat box, right? When you look at a player's stats or the back of his baseball card, those little intangibles are the things that do not show. And that's what we've been missing for Anthony Rizzo. Yes, he's been struggling with the bat. He's not the former Anthony Rizzo, the former all-star that helped the Chicago Cubs win a World Series. We get that. But a 30% Anthony Rizzo, his leadership is better than what we was getting out of DJ LeMahieu. And look at Ben Rice down there in AAA, killing it right now. Home run after home run, Ben Rice has turned into Barry Bonds. You know why? Because he's getting everyday regular at-bats and playing time, something he wasn't getting at the big league level. And granted, the pitching may be a lot easier because it's AAA pitching, quadruple A pitching, if you want to put it like that. But hopefully Ben Rice, he gets his opportunity. If it's with the Yankees, it's with the Yankees. If it's with another team, it's with another team. Point blank, period. I think Boone said it on Tuesday, right? Because, again, one of the reporters, shout out to the Dominican press that was out there from the Dominican Republic, they asked Aaron Boone about the Jasson Dominguez comments about why is Jasson Dominguez up now, but 2 days before, it was Brian Cashman, not Boone. It was actually the Cashman. And Cashman's comments. And Cashman literally said, listen, at the time, there was no lane for him, right? A lane was created because DJ LeMahieu went down on the IL, and now he's up here. But the one thing that he said about Jasson Dominguez, he said, if this was another team, if this was one of the other teams that may be in the postseason or maybe out of the postseason, he said Jasson Dominguez would be up here on the big league roster. But the issue is that we don't have a spot for him. And when you look at Alex Verdugo, yes, offensively, he's probably having the worst season of his career. But defensively, when you look at his defensive metrics, he is still one of the better defensive outfielders in Major League Baseball. So that's the one thing I can say. When you look at the defense from Volpe and when you look at the defense from Verdugo, there's a reason why they keep Verdugo in left field. So Aaron Judge doesn't have to have so much mileage on his legs. Aaron Judge doesn't have to worry about having so much range because you got Alex Verdugo in left field who could cover so much ground. Granted, do I think Jasson Dominguez is the future? Yes, I believe Jasson Dominguez is the future. And it's a perfect segue into our next conversation about Jasson Dominguez because Talking Yanks, they put it out there. Jasson Dominguez has been patient, and he deserves the Yankees fans to be patient as well. The one thing that I hate to see, I've gotten so many people in my comment section talk about, look how horrible Jasson Dominguez has been. And I know this is Grace's child and her favorite New York Yankee. So I'll throw it over to Grace to lead the convo. Go ahead, Grace. You like that segue?
I love it. I just feel like the reason we have been losing in the postseason has not been because balls have been falling in the gap and our defense in the outfield. It's been because we can't hit. So I'm not trying to hear nothing about Alex fucking Verdugo, okay? I'm trying to hear about Jasson Dominguez. And I'm trying to give this kid everyday at-bats so he can go rake in the postseason like I know he can. Now, Verdugo doesn't have that upside. To me, he doesn't have that upside. Is Jasson Dominguez's defense that bad to where you're like, well, we're just going to sell out for defense and not worry about the offensive production because we need the defense that much more? No, it's not. He should be getting more starts. I don't understand. I thought they were going to platoon him and give him everyday starts. Like, what happened to that plan? They just lie. They just say, oh, there's no lane. Oh, there's a lane. Oh, he's not. He needs everyday at-bats when he gets up. Oh, he's not going to get everyday at-bats. Like, they just lie. What is happening?
We got some breaking news, y'all. And shout out to my guy Keith Saunders who put it in the chat like that. Breaking news, y'all. Volpe is sitting tonight. He's not going to be in the lineup. That is a great call. Great call, Damien Serrano. Anna Marie says, "Sing it, Grace." Absolutely, absolutely, Anna Marie. Listen, I just want to highlight some more chats, and I'll throw it over to Damien. Anna Marie says, "I'm not mad at the Martian. He would adapt with regular at-bats," and I got to agree with Anna Marie as well.
Absolutely.
Kevin Reese, you guys know the name Kevin Reese, former Yankee prospect who made his major league debut in 2005, got a hit against the Mets in 2006. He's the person that's in charge of Yankees development, right? So last week, Tuesday, when we was at Yankee Stadium, I was able to have a conversation with Reese, the other reporters as well. And this is the one thing he said that as somebody who's in charge of player development, the issues that they're finding with players that are young players coming up. Okay. He said, in this day and age, you have all this technology when it comes to videos and accessibility and connecting with people on the internet. A lot of these showcases, or a lot of how they're able to scout players, it's from showcases. And what the showcases are is showcasing your talent as an athlete. Not much showing that you know how to play the game of baseball. So when you look at Jasson Dominguez, you remember that player? Forgot the team it was, but he double clutched on the throw. He wasn't able to get it in the Little League World Series game. Then the Little League game. That's a perfect example of a player not understanding game time situation, not understanding what to do in an actual moment. Jasson Dominguez, he's a perfect victim. He's a perfect example of a kid who's a victim of the showcase. We live in a world with players and young kids. All you got to do is showcase your talent, showcase how much of an athlete you are, and you're not learning how to play the game of baseball. You're not learning what's in-game decision. If Derek Jeter was around in 2024 as a young kid going through the showcases, I tell you this right now, that play that he made against the Oakland Athletics, that flip play, he never does it because he doesn't understand in-game situation. He never understands where he has to be in the moment. And that's the issue that a lot of young players are having. It's not only Jasson Dominguez. Anthony Volpe is a victim of that as well. Gunnar Henderson is a victim of that as well. There's a lot of young players that they have all the talent in the world. They just don't understand how to play the game of baseball.
Well, that's your job to fix that, okay? Because he's on the Yankees now, okay? We're paying you a lot of money, and that's your job. Don't give me some excuse about, oh, he doesn't know how to play baseball, but we signed him to play baseball. That doesn't make any sense.
No, because it was two. They missed 2 years of development. That was another thing that I forgot. Because of COVID, they missed 2 years of development, and that they missed those games that they need to learn how to play the game of baseball. Sorry, I forgot to add that in there. Don't beat me up, Grace. I'm sorry.
COVID, schmovid. I know, I get it. Okay, I get it. But
Anna Marie says, Grace looks like a protective mama bear for her son, Jasson Dominguez. Absolutely. My guy, Double A with the 199, Hector, the insider. Salute, fam. Double A, salute to you, familiar. Love you, Theo. Double A. Go ahead, Dame.
Listen, man. Fans kind of remind me of what they do with Giancarlo. They bash Big G. When Big G comes up big, they're real silent. They don't say a word, and they just want things to fit their narrative, right? And the moment, same thing with Jasson Dominguez. The moment the kid has a 1-for-4 game or an 0-for-4 game, whatever the case is, that's their moment to fit their narrative. But the moment exactly. But the moment this kid starts to shine, they forget. Oh, he had a single. He created a run, stole a base. They forget that. They forget the little things that this kid has done so far. So, and mind you, I look at his at bats. He had an at bat the other day, 11 pitch at bat. Spitting on pitches that he probably should have swung at, and foul ball after foul ball. This kid is coming along just the way he needs to. The one thing that upset me with that was he wasn't in the next game. So you have a kid who's working great at bats, got a hit, and is starting to come along, starting to see pitches, and then boom, takes him out the next game. Boom, you got to follow that up by saying, listen, man, I see what you're doing out there. Let me get you in the game again. And I get the Verdugo thing, and I totally get it. You got to find Verdugo his spots. But Jasson's played 5 out of 7 games so far. And Jasson is doing exactly what he needs to do. So all the fans that have this narrative or want the narrative that this kid is not ready, whatever the case is, pipe back. This kid's going to be a superstar. Just a matter of time. Next season, full-time left fielder. And we'll see what you guys are saying then. But this kid is a superstar in the making, guaranteed.
I'm confident to say, right? And you guys let me know, right? That's why I love having these conversations with Grace and Damien, because they help me not go off the ledge. And they let me know when I'm out of pocket when it comes to my takes. But you guys let me know. I'm confident to say that I've seen more from Jasson Dominguez than I have from Anthony Volpe, even though I see Anthony Volpe on an everyday basis, and game in and game out. I see Anthony Volpe up here. But I've seen more from Jasson Dominguez to have faith and confidence to say that kid's going to be a superstar. If he's able to put it together, if he can put it together at the major league level, that kid is going to be a superstar. Anthony Volpe, I look at Anthony Volpe, he is an amazing major league player. He deserves to be here at the major league level. He is above average when it comes to where he's at in the stardom of other major league players, if you understand what I'm saying. Anthony Volpe reminds me of a faster and a stronger version of David Eckstein. That's who Anthony Volpe reminds me of. Somebody who's not going to have great batting average, somebody that can steal some bases, get on base, and play you solid Gold Glove or close to Gold Glove defense. The only difference is that Anthony Volpe, he's going to pop a few more home runs than David Eckstein is going to do. That's how I view Anthony Volpe. I view Anthony Volpe in the same light that I view David Eckstein. And that's not to discredit David Eckstein. David Eckstein is a World Series shortstop. I'm not saying if Anthony Volpe could turn into David Eckstein, a World Series shortstop, winning a couple Gold Gloves in his career, I'll take that from Anthony Volpe. But if I'm looking at Volpe and Dominguez, and you ask me, Damien, Grace, you ask me, who has stardom potential? It's Jasson Dominguez.
1,000%.
But you know what Anthony Volpe got that has been the biggest difference? Every day at bats.
Got run.
Yeah.
Every single mother and day at mother bats. Okay, every day.
Shout out to Patrick. Hold on, Patrick Sinclair in the chat. Shout out to this is a throwback right here. Anthony Volpe is not David Eckstein. Eckstein never struck out. Volpe is closer to Pookie Reese than David Eckstein. Shout out to Patrick Sinclair. Shout out to Pookie Reese. Also, Pookie Reese won a World Series with the Red Sox in 2004. He was a part of that team that had that massive comeback. So shout out to Reese. Shout out to Pookie Reese. That is a throwback right there. Patrick Sinclair, how you doing? I'm sorry, Grace. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I gotta say, you know what else Anthony Volpe got that Dominguez hasn't got? The confidence of the entire organization. And the knowledge that not only does the manager have his back and ain't going to take him out no matter what, but the GM has his back and everybody else. Dominguez hasn't had that, y'all. They literally said a week ago, there is no lane for Jasson Dominguez, and that we feel like we have the best team to win with Verdugo. That was a week ago. Now he's up here. Is he going to play today? Is he not going to play today? Do they believe in me? Do they not believe in me? These are the things this kid has having to go through. Not only recovering from 2 major injuries, okay, in the last year, but he's trying to make a name for himself. He's trying to make a presence for himself. He's trying to earn his spot on the roster, not just for this postseason, but going forward. He's the future of our club, but they're not treating him like that. They're not treating him like they treated Anthony Volpe, rolling out the red carpet for this guy and saying, hey, no matter how long you struggle, we're not sending you back down. Jasson Dominguez doesn't have that feeling.
No, you're right. He didn't get Anthony Volpe is getting the Tyler Wade treatment. That's what Anthony Volpe is getting. Tyler Wade got opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and he just didn't work out. Credit to Volpe's credit. Anthony Volpe was a first-round pick. Tyler Wade was not a first-round pick. So credit to Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe won a Gold Glove last year. Tyler Wade never came close to sniffing being in the conversation for a Gold Glove. So I'm not totally downplaying or poo-pooing on Anthony Volpe. I said it like I'm gonna say what I said at the beginning. This is from the front office and from the fan base, putting all this unfair pressure on Anthony Volpe, saying he's going to be the next Derek Jeter, one of the next great Yankees shortstop, being a New Jersey kid, a local kid. This is a great story. We should have just allowed Anthony Volpe to be the next Anthony Volpe, to be the best version of yourself. Allow Volpe to be Volpe. Look at what Wells is doing right now. Austin Wells, another first-round pick. Did we hype up Austin Wells the way we hyped up Anthony Volpe? Absolutely not. And the one thing that we can point to when it comes to Austin Wells, as soon as he became our cleanup hitter, our offense changed. He is a 300 hitter as our cleanup spot. He is the reason why we are going into the postseason with a 3-game lead, or we have a 3-game lead right now. It's because of Austin Wells.
Absolutely. But to further on Damien's point, Jasson Dominguez is the future of left field. Left field is going to be Jasson Dominguez next year, right? I mean, we all wanted Tyler Wade to work out. You know, we wanted it to happen.
He was fine.
But,
you know.
Yeah. Next year, it is going to be Jasson Dominguez, okay? So why are you capping on Alex Verdugo right now? A, we need to win games. And B, we need to treat our future stars like that. They need to be treated like that so that they can become who they're going to be. Like, there's no reason to show, I'm sorry. I appreciate loyalty, okay? I do. But there's no reason to show Alex Verdugo loyalty. He's not going to be on the team next year. Now, if he can help us win a game, then that's something else. You know what I mean? Like, I want to win games. I want to win the World Series. Whoever is the best for the job needs to play. However, showing him loyalty, it doesn't make sense. You need to be showing loyalty to Jasson Dominguez. Okay?
Facts. Listen, 2 great comments that I'm gonna bring up right now. First, from my guy Li Yankee King, who said, "Hector, you better put some respect on Austin Wells' name. That's Rookie of the Year, Austin Wells." To you, Li. I apologize, Li. I take that back. No, I'm not worthy. I apologize. Rookie of the Year, Austin Wells. And then Double A said it. I ain't said it. Double A said Cashman treats our young Latin players different from Volpe. No other team would sit Jasson to play Verdugo. Double A, you said it. I ain't say it. But that's all I'm gonna say with that. But talking about Verdugo, and we're gonna have the convo rocking out for like another 10-15 minutes. I know Damien, he has to get back to work, and Grace, she has a life to do as well. So we're gonna rock out for another 10-15 minutes, about like 12-20. But about Verdugo, I looked into the crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball here, but if I had a crystal ball and I could see the future, this is going to be what Brian Cashman is going to rely on to justify Alex Verdugo being in the lineup. When you look at Alex Verdugo's numbers in the postseason and the 11 games that he has played in his career, Alex Verdugo has a .310 batting average. He has 13 hits, 1 home run, 6 RBIs, and 5 runs scored. Folks, prepare yourself now. I'm telling you right now, prepare yourself, because that's going to be the copy and paste reply we're going to get when the conversation comes. Why is Jasson Dominguez left off the postseason roster? I'm letting fans know right now, if Jasson Dominguez is left off of the roster, prepare yourself for this Alex Verdugo stat being one of the reasons, and also Trent Grisham being a Gold Glove defender.
No. You can't be real.
I gotta agree with you.
I'm saying right now. I'm saying
you're gonna hear.
We understand the organization, right? We gotta take our fandom, toss it to the side, right? We gotta go off of what we've seen in front of us, and recently, that's the type of response that the Yankees will have. Now, if it's different, and Jasson Dominguez is on the roster and Trent Grisham is off the roster, I'm going to eat my words and I'm going to praise Brian Cashman. I'm going to keep on singing. And Brian Cashman, we trust. I'm going to get a t-shirt and everything. I'm going to sing it. But I'm letting you all know too. Right now, mentally prepare yourself, because that may be our reality. Look at Grace. She just saw a puppy get kicked.
I'm already picturing Michael K bringing up those very stats over and over and over the last 5 or 6 games going into the postseason. You know how they like to use K as the mouthpiece for all their moves that they make. So also be prepared to hear K say and show you those same exact numbers throughout the yes presentation throughout these games. It's a possibility. It is 1,000% a possibility. Trent Grisham, another guy who a couple of years ago went berserk in the playoffs. So it's a real possibility that he gets left off.
I am tripping.
And it may just be a situation where Derek Jeter sat in the dugout for the postseason one year as a rookie and just let him sit there and take it in, soak it in, whatever case may be.
Yeah.
It may just be that very same situation.
But wasn't he on the roster?
He
wasn't
on the roster.
Not technically on the roster. It was when they had the 40-man call-ups that you could bring extra players up and you could keep some of them with the team, but you can't use them like in active games. They weren't active players. Okay. He was on the roster in the dugout for 1995. And like Jonathan says, we're sitting on 32 likes. We got over 70 people in the building. Smack that like button for the y'alls, all right? We got to get the like buttons up for the y'alls. And if you guys want, you guys can start getting ready, right? We're going to start taking donations because we need to get Grace Monroe a cuddle bear, right? So she can handle these emotions. You know the big emotion bears that they have? Grace needs a big emotional bear, or emotional support bear right now because this conversation has gone to the next level. Go ahead, Grace.
I am tripping, y'all. There is no way they are going to leave him off the postseason roster, right? No. This thought has not even crossed my mind. He is a switch hitting power bat who plays the outfield. You got to be joking me. There's no way. I can't believe it. I won't believe it. I can't believe that they would leave him off the roster for
mentally prepare ourselves to have the rug pulled from under us, Grace.
I can't.
All right, prepare for the worst, okay?
Y'all, I'm tripping right now. There's no way. With John Birdie, who can technically cover the outfield, he's faster than Trent Grisham. He's better at the plate than Trent Grisham, and he can cover the outfield and the infield. You got Oswaldo Cabrera, who technically can cover the outfield and the infield and is better, and he's also a switch hitter. Why would you? No. Y'all are trying to do me right now. There's no way.
Shout out to the y'alls.
I can't.
Damien, seriously, what's your thoughts on that possibility? And like I said, we're gonna rock out for like 5 to 10 more minutes before we wrap things up. What's your thoughts on that? Man. Again, nobody from the Yankees had told me anything. This is me just speculating. This is me as a fan mentally preparing myself because if the moment comes and that move happens, at least I will have like a week or so to mentally prepare myself instead of having to go through it that day.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this. It took DJ LeMahieu as an excuse to bring him up. Not when the call-ups, not after the All-Star break, not when he was 100% healthy, not when he was killing in AAA. It took that. So if it took that to call Jasson Dominguez up, what makes anybody think at this point he's going to be active on that roster for the playoffs?
Oh, no.
Again, perception is reality, right? The perception is the Yankees chose Verdugo over Dominguez. They're gonna throw up on us with those numbers you just put up on the screen, Hector. So I'm 1,000% prepared for it, and the Yankees will go into the playoffs with who we think they're gonna go into. Verdugo at left, Grisham as the backup, and Cabrera the backup everywhere else, and they're gonna roll the dice with that. And of course, they'll use the excuse that the kid has no playoff experience. They're going to use the excuse that he's only played 18 games during the season. Actually, less than that. They'll call him in with 18 games left in the season. He's going to have less than that in the major leagues this year. Yeah, okay. And then that's not enough experience. So get ready for it because it's going to happen.
I'm mad.
And also remember, just real quick, just some stats real quick. Also, when September 1st came, the excuse was Alex Verdugo is hitting over 350 in his last 10 games, right? Exactly. But guess what? Alex Verdugo in his last 10 games, as of right now, September 17th, is hitting 265. So that excuse of he's hitting over 350 in his last 10 games is running very stale and is getting old because in his last 10 games, as of right now, he's hitting 265. My apologies, Grace. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, ever heard of Jeremy Pena? He didn't have any postseason experience either. This kid went absolutely ham. And didn't he get World Series MVP or some shit?
Yeah, he won World Series.
ALCS.
Yeah, ALCS. Thank you, Damien.
No,
Thank you. But yeah, ALCS. This kid didn't have any experience either. Why are the Yankees the only team that has these hang-ups on these random statistical things? Like, there's no other... Think about the Braves. They didn't have any postseason experience either. They ran their rookies out there too. Every team does it. Why can't we do it? This is so stupid. Y'all, Y'all don't do me like this. Don't do me
I think we broke Grace. I think
Don't do me like this.
we just broke Grace right now. Just to let you know, yeah, Jeremy Pena did win the World Series MVP, not just the ALCS MVP. It was the World Series MVP.
He was on fire.
Yeah, my guy Anthony Ribeiro, shout out to Anthony R in the building. Hector Verdugo has not been in the postseason since 2021, and he was 5 for 19 versus Houston. Hardly impressive. If the Yankees bank on Verdugo versus no Dominguez, we would lose. Period. Listen, Anthony, I'm not arguing against what you just said, Anthony. Anthony's hitting it right on the head. I'm not disagreeing on what anything Anthony has to say. I just want to take a second. If you guys can, we have over 60, close to 70 people watching us collectively across all platforms. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram or Twitter, click the link in the bio, jump on over to YouTube. We are on our way to 5,000 subscribers. If you guys can, please smack that like button, hit the subscribe button. We are sitting at 4,423 on our way to 5K. Just to let you guys know, this Thursday, there will be no Yankees Morning Brew because I will be in Florida having to deal with my father's funeral. So won't be no Yankees Brew this Thursday. Next week, Monday, we come back with Bernie Williams at 11 o'clock, live with us at 11 o'clock. We're going to be rocking out with Bernie from 11 to 11:45, 11:30. We'll let you guys know. And then we're back on Tuesday as well, and then Thursday. It's just this Thursday coming up, no show because I will be in Florida. Damien is taking me out to eat. He doesn't know it yet. I just told him right now. But realistically, if you guys can, smack the like button, hit the subscribe. Go ahead, Grace.
Evan Carter, last year for the Texas Rangers, single-handedly carried them through several games. I know. I watched. My husband is an undercover Rangers fan, okay? Evan Carter was in Triple-A, okay? They call him up. He went on fire, manufactured runs, stealing bases, making plays in the outfield. I'm not trying to hear no mess about Jasson Dominguez. Ooh, y'all got me messed up today. I'm done.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way, Grace. I feel the same way, Grace. I feel the same.
Hey,
I just want to let you guys know. I just want to let you guys know. Being a part of like media, right, and getting like certain access to the team, as a fan from the outside, when you go inside and you're a part of media and you get certain access to certain things, you realize it's deeper than baseball. Just to let you guys know, I want to ask you guys, Grace and Damien. At what age do you think Brian Cashman was hired by the New York Yankees?
Oh, he was like 19. He was young.
Really?
Yeah.
Brian Cashman
he was a security guard.
Brian Cashman has been with the New York Yankees since he was 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is deeper than baseball when it comes to Brian Cashman and when it comes to the Steinbrenner family. As Yankee fans, right, we get frustrated with the organization, with the ownership, and with the management. I get it. I'm a fan. I've been a fan since I was a child. I want to see this team win. I do. I honestly do. Every year, I have it in my head that this team should be in the World Series and win a championship because I'm a fan. I understand that. But as Yankee fans, if you take a step back and you analyze every other team in Major League Baseball, the New York Yankees are probably one of the only teams that are ran by a family, right? Yes, Hal Steinbrenner operates it as a business, but it's a family-run operation. It's not a conglomerate. It's not Walmart owning a team, or it's not, how about that? It's not Target owning the Minnesota Twins so they can have it on their stock portfolio. So when they go to the bank to take out a loan, they can use the Twins as collateral to get a cheaper interest rate. Yeah. It's not that. The New York Yankees is a family-run operation. So as fans, let's take a step back. I'm not trying to sugarcoat and try to be a cheerleader for the Yankees front office, but as a fan, I appreciate that the Yankees are owned by the same family, that the New York Knicks are owned by one single man and James Dolan, that the New York Giants are owned by one family. There's not that many organizations or franchises around in professional sports that can say that. So as a fan of the New York Yankees, being on the opposite side of it, being on the inside when it comes to media access, that right there on my first day, I had to take a step back and be like, wow, this is deeper than baseball. Jason Zillow, the person who's in charge of Yankees PR, I met that man once at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right? At 6 o'clock, he remembered my name. He came up to me, Hector, don't miss out. We're having a private press conference over here with one of the players. He didn't have to do that. He just met me once at like 1 in the afternoon, and at 6 o'clock, he remembered my name. So that right there to me goes a long way. The amount of people he saw that day and he still remembered my name, I may be a fanboy.
Yeah, no. Man, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, broadcasting with the organization since he was 18, 19 years old. He was believe it or not, a security guard. I don't know who was in the secure or who was in the guard, but yeah, he's deeply rooted. When they call him, an adopted child of the Steinbrenner family, he literally is. So when taking a step back, when you think about it, it's like literally firing a family member, literally asking somebody to say, listen, I asked you to turn your back against your cousin, your uncle, whoever the case may be. So absolutely, it is deeper than just baseball. And it is a business, but at the end of the day, you can't miss business. You can't miss business with pleasure, right? So they run it as a business, and the Yankees is a business. I mean, it's worldwide. So, but it is deeper than what anyone could possibly think of. As a kid, my uncle was an electrician for Yankee Stadium, the original Yankee Stadium. That's my roots to the Yankees.
Awesome.
So, I remember going as a child, seeing the 96 team, 95 teams, Mel Hall, Jesus, all that Gerrit Cole juice, you name it. So, it is deeper than that. And I say that because, again, I'm deeply rooted when it comes to that as well. So I understand it. I get it.
Yeah, it is. It is. Grace, final thoughts, and then we're going to close it out.
Well, as somebody who grew up in Texas, I chose this life. When people ask me, why are you a Yankees fan? Didn't you grow up in Texas? And I said, yeah, I love New York. I love New Yorkers. And people say, you love New Yorkers? And I say, yeah, they're awesome. They're authentic. They're tough. They're funny. I chose this life. So I could be maybe chosen family because I ride hard for not only my New York family, my Yankee family, the team, and all the fans and everybody here in the chat. Like, I ride hard for all y'all. For all y'all. See, hey, listen, I'm a little Yankee. I'm a little y'all. Okay, so I'm so grateful to be here. I love the family we've created, the chat we've created, the community, all the Yankees fans, and I love being a part of it. Thank you for accepting me, even with my accent. My heart is pure Yankees. So, I mean, I think that overall, great conversation today. Headed into this Mariners series, which is going to be a tough one. But we're in a good spot, and we have only good things to look forward to. I will be very interested in what the Yankees do very soon. But it's all good problems to have. So no, definitely. I gotta agree with you, Grace. We got a series against the Mariners. We got 12 games left. We got a 3-game lead in the division. Yankee fans, get ready because the season came. And it went this fast. It went by so fast. The postseason is literally right upon us. Yankee baseball in the postseason. Damien, final words, baby.
Yeah, let's go, man. The Yankees 3-game set. We may just lose tonight. That's all. That's the only game I'm really worried about because Wu dominates. If it does, it's going to be a 2-1 game, 3-2 game. Other than that, we own Miller. We don't have to see Castillo. Yankees take the series at least 2 games to 3. Chat, everybody have a great day. Hector, I will see you soon, my brother. And everybody have a good one.
Erica Garcia with a great chat. Erica says, love you, Grace. Thank you for putting on for women in sports. We get looked down on a lot in this realm, and you make me proud to be a female in sports. Erica, 100%. And that's why having Grace up here and having other people that I work with is important. Right, because women, they get shat on when it comes to giving their sports takes. And I want to say Grace Monroe is one of the most knowledgeable, not just Yankee fans, but just sports fans that are out there when it comes to her takes, when it comes to her character, when it comes to the jokes, the hee ha-has. Grace Monroe is the vibes. I just want to say that before we dip out. Erica, thank you for putting that in the chat. And shout out to my friend Erica, who does amazing job giving her great takes, whether it's in the chat, whether it's on different live streams. Erica definitely is somebody that should have a platform and should have her own show out there. Maybe in the future, you never know. But until next time, I'm Hector. That's Grace. Say that. I'm Grace.
I'm Grace.
And
I'm Damien. Let's go.
And we are out. We're gonna get better at doing this. All right, we'll get better.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.